You will call the roll, please.
Mr. Long?
Here.
Mr. Matheson?
Here.
Mr. Payne?
Here.
Miss Reese?
Here.
Mr. Carlton?
Here.
Mr. Gentry?
Here.
Miss.
Okay, if we can, stand, have a moment of silence, and then I'm going to ask Jerry Gentry if he would to lead us in a pledge. Jerry?
Pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Braden. Braden Gentry, Jerry Gentry. Braden had it figured out. I appreciate that, Braden. Okay. I guess we don't have anything. We'll go to the consent agenda. If anyone has an item they'd like to pull off. If not, I'll entertain a motion.
move to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the agenda. We have a second.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Miss Reese?
Yes.
Mr. Carlton?
Yes. Next item is report of our student board member.
The first few days of the 2020 school year have been going well so far. Sports like football and volleyball and golf are all back in season. Robotics program even started today after school. Students are encouraged to routinely check their school emails for announcements and opportunities. Senior kickoff will be Tuesday evening, August the 16th. Students will get important information about events and opportunities happening this year, and will have a chance to meet college area representatives. Finally, seniors are starting to prepare for the October ACT, and we look forward to the continuation of a successful school year.
All right. Thanks, Braden. All right, the next item is a Tcap EOC data presentation. Ms. Wills.
Russell will be here, but he is literally losing half of his heart in football tonight, because he's now got 2 kids there. So he certainly sees his regrets, he wouldn't able to be here. We wanted to just give you a quick update of our Tcap data for this last school year. And so we're gonna, once the report card data is released, we're gonna go into more in depth as far as like school level data and that kind of thing. But we thought that for tonight we could just share some high level data with you in district wide data. So you're gonna see, I'm gonna kind of scroll through each grade level and subject area on this spreadsheet. But I want to point out just a couple of things to you. Of course, we have Connections Academy now, and so that data is rolled into our data. So, unfortunately, their data was not as high as our district data. So we pulled that out because we wanted you to see how is Johnson County doing. So we have highlighted our district data with Connections Academy in yellow, and we've highlighted the state data in blue, like what's the state average for that grade level. And then the green is where's Johnson County, you know, just our students. So in 3rd grade ELA, 32.6% of students was on track and mastered, which I'm going to say that. They've changed the names. They change them almost every year. It's now met expectations and above expectations.
Yeah.
I think it's met and above. But anyway, it's where we need to be, is those top 2. So 32.6% of Johnson County students were there. We were right below the state average in 3rd grade ELA.
And the counties that are listed are the counties in 1st district.
Thank you.
So from Morristown all the way to Johnson County.
Yes.
That's our CER group.
So we wanted to know, how are we ranking in regards of the districts around us? 3rd grade math, we were at 30.9. Again, we have some work to do there. I will say it's not an excuse at all. We can't use this as an excuse, but this group was affected, you know, with 2 years of being in and out of school, and it's obvious, you know, that we've got some work to do with those kids, and we've got to do that. We've got to keep working at it. 3rd grade science, we were above the state with 41%. So that was much better in that particular area in 3rd grade. 4th grade, I can't say enough about. I'm super proud of our 4th grade students and teachers. they really shine this past year. If you look up there, we were fourth, with only Johnson City, Elizabethton, and Kingsport above us. And if you look at fifth grade math, they were right below Johnson City. They missed it by like 1 percentage point. So they were at 59.5%, so just super proud. Fourth grade science, we were at 64.3%. Fifth grade ELA, 42.1. And if I'm going too fast or you want me to slow down, just tell me. Fifth grade math was 35.1, and we were right below the state there. Fifth grade science, we were above the state at 44.1. Sixth grade ELA, a little bit below, 34.3. Sixth grade math, 36%. Sixth grade science, 38%. So again, we have some work to do in some areas, in some upper grades as well. And then sixth grade does take social studies, and this is a major concern for us this year, and it's going to be a major focus. Our sixth grade social studies data did not look well at all, and so we are going to have to focus on that this coming year. But we were at 35.6. Okay. Seventh grade ELA was at 30.8. Seventh grade math was at 21.8, and again, that, you know, this is an area that I know that they're working on and focusing on in the middle school. Seventh grade science was 33.8. Seventh grade social studies did look a little better, and that was 42.9%. Eighth grade ELA, it was again a bright spot. They were at 32.5, and well above the state in that area. Eighth grade math was also a bright spot. They were at 32.1. Eighth grade science was 33.3, so again, above the state. And social studies was at 50%, and again, well above the state in that area. The high school data, English 1 was an area that we did struggle, and that was at 26.1. English 2 was at 36.4. Again, we've got some work to do there, and I know that they're focusing on that. They've already been having some PD. Algebra 1 was at 20.9. Geometry was at 8.7, and again, that's a major area of focus for the high school. And Algebra 2 was at 15.9. And I think there might be one more.
U.S. history.
Yeah, those two. Biology was at 28.8. And then U.S. history was at 36.2. So we've definitely been digging into this. I know all the principals, we've had a ton of PD over the summer, really looking at what we need to do to focus on, and we're going to continue to do that throughout the year. But I know the principals are working with their staff as well, so we're going to continue to dig into the areas that we need to improve. Any questions about anything?
Do you think the pay rate in Johnson City and seeing Newport up there, Kingsport, do you think they're drawing away and pulling our good teachers that away, and we're having to, do you think that's
I
still
do.
hurting us?
Yeah, because our math scores, you know, we lost several really strong teachers last year, and it does show in some of our scores. You know, just the teachers that were there, they worked very, very hard, but you know, when you lose a teacher mid-year, it does impact kids.
And it takes a new teacher a few years
Well, I know.
to really dig into the standards and, figure out exactly how they should be teaching things. It's certainly not easy, but I agree with you that it does hurt us. Right, well, thank you all.
Then I think we have an item on here, well, I guess the next one. is talking about the virtual schools. So the next item is to approve a resolution in regards to virtual school students and maintenance of effort. Dr. Simcox?
Yes, this is a resolution that Mr. Long helped put together with Ben Torres with TSBA. And it's just stating that as a board, that we're urging the General Assembly to allow local boards of education and their local funding body to enter into a temporary agreement to exclude the number of students enrolled in the district's virtual school from maintenance of effort. And what that means is our maintenance of effort right now, you know, we have to meet maintenance of effort with the county, with our student population, but the statewide virtual academy is included in our numbers. So when you look at what maintenance of effort is supposed to be, the county would end up having to pay more based on the fact we have double the amount of students. But they're not Johnson County students. So what we've been working with Scotty and with the legislators is to try to get those virtual schools pulled out so they won't count against us with maintenance of effort. This is just a resolution saying that you all support that.
And this will change more when the new funding
Yeah.
takes effect.
Yeah.
It'll affect the county more
Yeah, it won't impact us until the Tsba takes
until
it.
it takes over.
So we
and-
highly recommend this.
And I talked to Ben yesterday, we need to let the county commissioners be aware of this, and they can pass it if they want to. It just looks better when they take it to Capitol Hill
Yeah.
to have it presented.
And the revenue from, there's a dual side to this. The revenue
There
from
is.
Virtual Academy is pretty significant for us, isn't it?
It is, and it is sort of what helped us be able to give our support staff the raises we were able to. But then when you look at the data, you know, there's pros and cons.
Well, the data's all over the board.
The data is all over the board, and it's going to be for a few years. But the money that we are generating is helping.
And even some of the schools who are at the top on some of these, they're down closer to the bottom.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay,
Need a motion on
do we have a motion, Mr. Long?
Yes.
Do we have a second?
Yeah, a second.
A second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Ms. Reese?
Yes.
Mr. Carlton?
Yes. All right, next item is to approve the 22-23 annual agenda.
Yes, and this is something y'all do every year in August. This is just the annual agenda of items that we present each month to you. This is something we do yearly.
Okay. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion we approve.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Ms. Reese?
Yes.
Mr. Carlton?
Yes. All right, next item is to approve the management team for 22-23 school year.
Again, this is something we do yearly, just approving the management team. This is a part of your annual agenda.
Okay. We have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion we approve.
Okay. Mr. Payne has a motion, Mr. Long has a second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Ms. Reese?
Yes.
Mr. Carlton?
Yes. Now is to approve the DHA committee members for 22-23 school year.
Yes, again, this is what we do in August for those DHAs that we have to have for zero tolerance offenses. And this is just the committee members that can be picked for that.
Okay. Have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion we approve it.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? All right, call the roll, please.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Ms. Reese?
Yes.
Mr. Carlton?
Yes. Next item is a 5-year plan update, providing teachers with training to ensure that one-to-one devices be integrated into daily classroom instruction.
Yes, this is a part of your 5-year plan, and we provided a lot of training and PD this summer on that topic.
And one-on-one devices are,
Our Chromebooks.
okay. All right. Anybody have any questions? That's just an update. All right, a lengthy second and final reading of TSBA recommended and required policy changes. Dr. Simcox?
Yes,
I'm
and
gonna
I'll
let you go through that.
I will be happy to go through those. Again, these are required changes due to state law. So I'll just go through each one of them. The first one is policy 1.102. State law now requires that candidates be a qualified voter and resident in the county for 1 year prior to a qualifying deadline for running as a candidate. Policy 3.202. School districts are now required to conduct at least one virtual learning drill each year, and that just means to make sure the kids are prepared if we have to go back to remote learning. And they were supposed to have done that this week, and I know the majority of them, I do know, have done that. Policy 4.101, instructional standards, just updates the complaint process, which is outlined by the Tennessee Department of Education. 4.212, virtual education program. This is a brand new policy that allows districts to utilize virtual instruction for up to 2 days each semester for severe weather or serious outbreak of illness. 4.402 is reconsideration of textbooks and instructional materials. This is a brand new policy that just contains the process for handling complaints about textbooks and instructional materials. 4.403 is library materials. This is a brand new policy in regards to the new state law that focuses on library materials. 4.406, use of internet. This is a new state law which requires boards to have a policy in place regarding complaints about how vendors provide access to online content. We're good with this because we are serviced through ENA. 4.600 is the grading system. This new state law changed the grading scale for high school to a 10-point scale. 4.602 removes the GPA based on a 4.0 scale due to the previous policy change for valedictorian determination. 5.119, 5.20, and 5.201 all have the same changes, and it's due to the new retirement policy that allows someone that is in retirement to come back and work yearly, but they get full teacher pay, but only 70% of their retirement. So it had to change in those three policies. Policy 6.200 is with attendance. State law no longer permits the denial of a driver's license due to a poor student academic performance. And then 6.204.
A question about that one.
6.200?
Yeah, they're still required to be enrolled in school though, to get
Yes,
a license.
yes.
Is that right?
They don't really look at their report card now.
Okay.
Yeah, they still require the attendance documentation, just not the report card.
Okay.
6.204, attendance of non-resident students. State law now allows boards to allow children of district employees to attend school tuition free. 6.318, admission of suspended or expelled students. It now removes the notification requirement that the Commissioner of Education be notified if a student is denied enrollment based on suspension from another school district. And last but not least is 6.409, reporting child abuse. State law now only requires employees working directly with students to receive child abuse training. We require all our staff because they do work with students.
That's good. All right, are there any questions on any of these? I have one on the, so how are you gonna figure the valedictorian? It says remove the GPA.
The main thing is ACT,
Okay,
the highest ACT. And then if, I think if they're tied, I think they both get it, correct? Yeah,
okay.
but it's mainly ACT and a rigorous academic course.
All right, do we have a motion?
So move, we approve all policy changes.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Ms. Reese?
Yes.
Mr. Carlton?
Yes. All right, next item. Approve additions and alterations to Mountain City Elementary with J.E. Green Company in the amount of $5,061,000, which is the base bid. And the bids are on file, and Dr. Simcox, you're going to explain about this and where the money comes from. And
Yes, this will be paid mainly out of ESSER 3.0. We did have a work session on Monday, and Tom Shanks is here, the architect who's in charge of all this. He did the bids. He's in charge of all that, and the lowest bid was with J.E. Green Company. And of course, the cost of building supplies has rose dramatically. So when we did our ESSER allocations more than a year ago, and he had done sort of a quote based on prices at that time, we had estimated it would be around $4 million to do the addition at Mountain City. Mountain City is overcrowded, and they definitely need the academic space. So it would be changing the gym into 3 classrooms and adding a 4th classroom with a new gym. And it did end up coming over $771,604, what is over what we have funded in ESSER. But we do have reserves from Johnson County Schools to be able to pick up the cost from where we were good fiscal agents last year. So it would not be any cost to the county whatsoever to do the renovation to Mountain City and the upgrades.
And for someone watching that's not really familiar with ESSER, can you explain that just a minute, where that money is?
ESSER is federal dollars, and this is our 3rd ESSER, and it was the most, that we got the most money with this ESSER. But it's due a lot to COVID. 20% of the money had to automatically be spent towards learning loss. So the other 80%, we had some flexibilities with grants. You have a lot of guidelines you have to follow, but they did allow us to build on to schools. And that's what we chose to do because of the overcrowdedness at Mountain City. We will never see this kind of money come in again.
And this money has to be spent?
Has to be spent by June of 2024.
And one of the questions I know that even some of the teachers ask is, could that money have been put into teacher raises?
No, you don't want to put raises into grant funds because grant funds are one-time funds. Teacher raises, certified support staff, they are reoccurring costs. So even if you did put it in there, you would have to eventually not only you'd have to catch up and pay for what you were going to do.
Would mean that our budget would be $3 million over next year.
Exactly. You don't ever put raises in a grant.
Okay. And grants are targeted.
They are targeted.
Okay.
And federal grants have a lot more stipulations to them. And I will say Ms. Wills does a great job overseeing these grants.
And as far as the funds coming from the reserve.
Correct.
So that is money for those who aren't really familiar with a lot of our terms, the school's savings account, where we've had extra money every year that we've put in to that savings account for different items.
Correct.
Part of that money has to be kept for.
We have designated funds and we have undesignated funds. And with our designated funds, what we do is we pull out funds and designate them for roofs, utilities. There's a line for technology. There's a line for summer projects. We have a line in here for the vocational house because that comes out of there. So once we pull out designated funds, then what's left over is an undesignated funds. So it's sort of like you said, a savings account that we can pull from if we need it. And, we have plenty of money in that to be able to finish up this project with Mountain City.
Okay, so we're not going to be asking the county for any money.
We will not ask the county for a dime.
And basically what we've done with these funds is that years ago we expanded on the middle school.
We did.
Did the expansion at our expense, although it's taxpayers' dollars. But and now we're going to do the same with the addition onto Mountain City Elementary. And I think, where is Gay? She's right in the very, very back.
It's in the back all the time.
And our principal, when we talked about our work session, we talked about the academic needs of the students at Mountain City Elementary. And Mountain City Elementary gets students from all over the county. And they are bursting at the seams. And she was telling us about a lot of classes and some special ed where you have different groups in the same room, which is not conducive to learning. And so our work session, we focused on academics and what we needed. So anything else to add? Anybody want to add anything to this?
Mr. Shanks is here with us tonight, if you have any other questions.
Okay.
I'm here for questions. If you'd like to ask anything, I would ask that you be clear about whether you're going to include the alternate or not.
Right, because that was not on here. That was not on the where he talked about the alternative price for the bathroom stalls. So if you want us
I
to
think
do
we-
that.
Yeah, I
We
think
Pretty much
talked
agree
about
with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so if you could
Yes.
put, if you do, whoever makes the motion, if you
Now,
could include that.
I do want to clarify the alternative stalls, it's just to make them more private in the stalls, and they're not alternative any other way. They are just, they're still gonna be boys and girls,
Oh, yeah.
with just, the doors are longer, and the stalls go all the way to the floor, to the ceiling,
And
They
then-
correct?
don't go all the way to the ceiling, but they go higher than. normal.
Higher than normal.
And there's no
doors.
crease, you said today,
Right,
too.
at the door openings, you can't see through. Sam,
Similar to what we did at the high school
Yeah.
I'm sure.
on our own. All right. So do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve item number 14, the addition and alteration of Mountain City
All right, Mr. Payne's made a motion.
with the alternate bathroom stall added,
Okay.
which is an additional, what, 40, what was that number?
4,400.
$4,400.
Now, these restrooms, you're gonna have it on the female side and over on the male side, is that right?
There are two different bathrooms, yes.
Yes.
Male,
Female, okay,
Right.
all right.
Yeah, the word alternate, like Mr. Long said, isn't really a good term to
That's not a
use
good
these
term,
days.
alternate.
It's just an alternate.
We're just
on
talking about
contract.
a different stall that's gonna provide more privacy to the students, similar to what we did at the high school. All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a second, Mr. Long. Any further discussion? Anybody have anything they want to ask of Mr. Shank?
No, but I do want to thank Angie, good gracious, whenever we got the bid, that she turned into like a human crazed supercomputer trying to find these extra funds, and
You did.
so I want to give a shout out to her.
Yeah, I wanna thank you too, because the one thing that we talked about in our work session is the fact that we're not gonna have this $3 million+ to use in the future. And if we don't use it now, we lose it. And this is gonna greatly benefit us and help us to provide what's needed at Mountain City Elementary with that $3 million+. We couldn't do it without that. So, thank you, Angie. All right, any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes,
Mr. Payne?
Yes,
Mr. East?
Yes.
Mr. Carlton?
Yes. Yeah, you're gonna have to stick around long enough to enjoy this building.
Well, just, we talked about it the other night. Starting date, hopefully.
I talked with the contractor, and he said he expects to start in approximately 2 weeks from the date he has a contract. So we should be starting soon after the 1st of September,
Okay.
breaking ground.
And have we got a plan to be able to do all that and get people in and out of that crowded
Yes,
traffic?
we do. Mr. Adams has worked hard on the plan.
Are we talking about 18 months completion?
20, well, roughly 20.
20 months completion? Okay.
What's your plan?
Basically, that section there on the side will be shut off, and we'll have traffic coming in from the 421 side and then on the Donnelly Street side.
Okay,
And at completion, the road will be the same place, just moved over a little bit.
okay.
All right.
All right, so I think that's this is my last board meeting. That's a really good thing to be able to do in your last board meeting, is to make sure you got the funds for the new school. All right, budget update, Ms. Lipford.
Not a lot of information tonight. We're still waiting on state approval for our budget.
Thanks, Tom. All right. You did that fast.
I did.
As fast as she's ever went.
All right. Director's report.
I do, if you'll take one and pass it around, I did want to give you an updated student enrollment. This is hot off the press from today, to give you an idea of what the student enrollment is at each school. Just to make you aware, when you get this, at the side is where Connections Academy is in the red. So you'll see like our total student population with Connections Academy as of today is 4,143 students.
I think as much,
Yeah.
we're double.
They have more than we do, but in Johnson County, we have 2,026 students. But I did put how many we have in JOCO online at each school, so you could see how many that we have in JOCO online, which is, for Johnson County, we have 24. So, and tomorrow, I think, is the deadline for JoCo Online. So,
Is that up any, or is that about the same? Who's over there?
Jesse?
I know last year we had about 60 enrolled,
Okay.
and several did not pass or did not do their work in a timely manner, so they had to go back in person. So at the end of the school year, we had about 36.
Okay. That's the reason it's down, is these kids are back.
Several have gone.
Back in brick and mortar.
by choice as well.
Okay.
And we do track them so that if they're not doing their work, we bring them back into school.
Yes, every day.
And I know
I'm there every day.
I know I asked this the other day, do we have any update on Southern?
I emailed Washington County earlier this week. I have not heard anything. I called them today, and apparently I missed them by 10 minutes.
Okay.
So I have asked, I left a message for her to call me Monday because I have to be out tomorrow. So as soon as I hear, I will let Dr. Kim Cox know, and she will let you all know.
All right.
Is that on the head count? And
I
so,
think-
is that on the number of students down in Sutherland?
Last year, if I'm not mistaken, we had 10, maybe 11. I'm not sure what we will have this year because I haven't gotten any numbers. They always send me names and days of attendance at each month, so I haven't heard anything from them. Like I said, I've tried twice to contact them, so I'm hoping Monday, the third time will be the charm.
All right.
If I could have Mr. Carlton and Kevin sit down here just a minute. Very sad to say that this is their last board meeting. They've both been wonderful board members. You couldn't ask for better proponents of public education for our students and for our staff. And y'all are going to be missed so much.
We appreciate it.
Mr. Carlton has 20 years with the school board, and he has done wonderful things. So if we could give him a round of applause. And we've got a cookie from us. And he's done amazing things. They are wonderful for the school system, and you'll folks.
Well, and I just want to say, for the folks in First District, that I really appreciate the honor and privilege of serving on board. It's been a long run. I got on the board prior to my daughter getting in school, and now my kids are just about out of college. We're struggling with one, but we're getting there. We've done a lot of things as a team over the last 20 years. Like I say, I'm glad that today we're able to give the funds to Mountain City Elementary. We did a big improvement at all the schools, and you know, one of the things that I appreciate is Minnie Miller, Morris Woodring, and Dr. Simcox. They have all done a good job, developed a good team, and the facts speak for themselves. A lot of people may want to criticize us, but when you actually look at the facts show how good Johnson County is. So thank you, and thank you to all the staff.
Same thing, I can't say enough for the staff, the teachers, bus drivers, custodians. They've all done a wonderful job. Just want to thank y'all so much. Thank my family for being with me. Thank y'all.
And we wish the best to the new board.
We get a picture?
Did you get it? All right.
You should rob up or take a picture.
Yeah. Rob's been, I don't know, demoted or promoted. And that is, that's all I have.
All right. Mr. Mattson?
I don't have that.
All right. Mr. Payne?
I just want to say kind of bittersweet. We're losing a couple of guys. It was the only two members that was here when I got on the board. So I know we've butted heads at times, but we've always got along. And in the end, I think we made the right decision. So I want to appreciate you guys for putting up with me for this past 7 years now.
Has it been that long?
Yep.
I was thinking about that the other day. I couldn't remember how long it'd been.
Yes, I was appointed, so I had an extra year on Joanne, but that's it.
Mr. Payne was appointed after Mr. Gamble passed.
No, it was when Dunn resigned.
Oh, when Brad left,
When
okay.
Brad resigned, yeah.
All right. Okay, well, so you can tell how long it's been.
Yeah.
Ms. Reese?
Well, I'd like to say this has been a pleasure
Thank you,
sitting on the board with you
appreciate it.
and Kevin,
We appreciate it. We've got a good team.
and appreciate everything that you've done for our school system,
Thank you.
because I know that you both worked really hard.
Yep, thank you very much. Mr. Long?
Just thank y'all again. Like, Mr. Carlton said, we have a good team. We just keep moving forward. That was my goal when I started 12 years ago, was to move Johnson County forward, and we have, and I hope y'all will continue that.
I already gave my speech. Dr. Simcox, do you have anything else to add?
Thank you all for your support of me and my family. They've always been there, and that means a lot. So we will miss you, and we wish you the best, but we're always here, always here.
Biggest privilege I think I got being on the board was to hand my kids their diplomas going across the stage.
Yep.
And sign them.
Just got to do one that way.
And the only regret I have, I've had Braden ever since he came home from the hospital, and I wanted to sign his diploma and hand it to him across the stage. But good luck to you, Braden.
Thank you.
All right. If there's nothing else, we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right. We're adjourned.
You got 3 things.